Hey everybody, welcome back to the Hollywood Actor's Guide to Surviving the Film and TV Industry. I am your host, Jennifer Lynn Warren, and today, guys, I am so excited to announce that finally the Kindle or the ebook version of the Hollywood Actor's Guide to Surviving the Film and TV Industry is now available on Amazon.com. And I am currently number one on the list for new acting books on Amazon. So please check it out. I will link to it in the show notes. The book is currently at a very low introductory price of only $4.99. So grab it while it is still a steal. And please, guys, if you do read it, which I hope you do, don't just DM me. I got a lot of great responses, people direct messaging me or emailing me about how much they enjoyed the book. But leave a rating and review on Amazon. I would really appreciate it, and it will let other people know that it's a great read. Today's main topic is going to go off of an audition story that I actually told in the book that I just told you guys about. But I thought it would also provide a valuable lesson for today's topic, which is taking control of your audition. So many actors go into an audition and they have this notion of how it's supposed to be, and it must be A through Z, and you can't vary. You could never tell the casting director what to do or change what is happening in the room because, then they're going to hate you and they're never going to call you in again. So I'm going to read an excerpt from my book to share my story with you. While I was in New Orleans, my agent Dawn called to say that my favorite casting director, Megan Lewis, wanted to see me for American Horror Story. I had first met Megan when I had gone in for a film that was called Being a Criminal for Dummies or something along that line. I did the audition fully prepared, and we looked at each other mutually dissatisfied. Megan said, "You're not right for this role." I agreed. Then I said, "Have anything I am right for?" "Yeah, ballsy, I know." "You know what? Yes, I do." She went into the next room and came back with a role from the TV show Treme. The character was a drug addict and edgy. We worked on the audition together, and then she taped me. "Don't leave New Orleans yet," she told me. I was living in Shreveport at the time. I went to visit a friend, and Megan called me that afternoon. "Can you come in tomorrow? The producers want to see you." I didn't book it. The audition went great, but the producer groaned that I looked too athletic and healthy to be on heroin and close to death. I was doing P90X at the time, and I was pretty buff, so I agreed. But after that, Megan always brought me straight to producers. This is called booking the room. Booking the room. When you're not right for the character you are auditioning for, but your performance and preparation is so impressive that the casting director will see you often for other roles. Sometimes you no longer need to audition for them. They know you will be prepared, so they bring you straight to callbacks. Then one day, she brought me straight to producers for Planet of the Apes. I stopped the audition in the middle and said, "I'm sorry, Megan. I can't hear your reader. I need you to read with me." I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I didn't do any better with Megan reading. I had just got off a long flight with no sleep, but that's no excuse in this business. I didn't hear from Megan for about a year, not till the American Horror Story audition. I thought I had been banned from the office after what I had pulled in the Apes audition. I turned it down at first. I was really feeling like a failed actor at that time. "Megan really wants to see you for this," my agent insisted. Cuddy, who is a friend of mine I was working for at the moment, also pushed me to go, saying I could leave during work. I was still reluctant. It had been rough in Los Angeles, and I was feeling hurt by the industry, bitter, angry, unloved. I wanted more of an apology from the industry than a lousy audition. But I went. I went without makeup, with my hair wrapped up in a scarf and rain boots on because it was muddy on set due to thunderstorms. I went in. I was off book, of course. I'm not an animal. I read it once and then I left. No call back. The next day, my agent called. So you didn't get the part you auditioned for? Uh-huh, I said. I was not surprised, wondering what she wanted because I was passing out paychecks on set and I knew the crew was annoyed that I had paused this happy ritual to answer a phone call. Just a side note outside the book, I was working as a production assistant on a film set at the time. So back to the book. But they want you to play this other character. They haven't told me much. Her name is Borgita. She's Kathy Bates's daughter. It was enough to give me pause, but I really just assumed it was a glorified extra role. I should have known my agent better than to have accepted that. Dawn doesn't deal in glorified extras. Okay, I said. Send me the dates and I will see if I can do it. I know a lot of you are very, very mad at me right now. You should be jumping at this, you are screaming. I hear you. I should have been, but I was heartbroken. So guys, that's just a little excerpt from my book and a little more context for everything that I had just said. Like, first time I went in for Megan, I really took control of that room. Like, I was not right for that audition and I asked her if she had anything else for me and she did. And we continue to have a really great relationship, even though I did stumble with the Planet of the Apes. You know, it's really easy to say, oh, I shouldn't have done that. But looking back, I really couldn't hear what the reader was saying to me. And for the longest time, I thought I had really upset Megan about doing that in the room. But, you know, it could have been that there just wasn't anything right for me. And I ran into her a few years later, and she told me that she really, really pushed for me to get that role on American Horror Story. The director asked her point blank, who would you cast? And she was like, Jennifer Lynn Warren, hands down, this is who you want for this role. So guys, don't be afraid to take control of the room. Don't be a dick about it. Never be unprofessional, but your job as an actor is to do your job as an actor. And if the circumstances are not right, stop what's going on in that room. Take control of it. The time is yours that you are in that audition, and do what you need to do. All right, guys, I gotta admit, I've got headshots on the brain. Mostly it's because I am shooting my next headshot session next week. So that is all I am thinking about. And so I want you to keep something in mind when you're selecting a photographer. They're going to be shooting their brand, not yours. Just go online and look at headshot photographers. Just Google headshot photographers and just look at all their portfolios. And you're going to see that there is like a through line or a theme to every single photographer and how they shoot and how those actors look. So if you want to be on Nickelodeon shows, you need to select a headshot photographer whose way of shooting conveys the Nickelodeon essence. Do your research. So if you really want to do Nickelodeon shows, you should go on IMDb, look at Nickelodeon shows, look at the actors who are booking the guest stars and co-stars on those Nickelodeon shows that you want to be on, and look at the headshot photographers that they are using. A good actor that has respect for their craft and the people who work with them and are on their team will credit their photographers in their photos. So please, guys, always credit your photographers, and never go into a headshot session with the goal of shooting a pretty picture. Pretty pictures don't get you work. Pictures of real human beings do get you work. They do get you in the room. So don't let the photographer overtouch your photos. And so many actors look like they're blown out, or they look like these fake porcelain dolls in their pictures, and the humanity that could have got them booked or in the room is gone. Memorization. Believe it or not, guys, your brain is really good at it. You just don't give it a chance. I was listening to the podcast Akimbo, which I really recommend if you like culture and how societies change. And Seth, who's the host, was talking about this great study that was done on memorization. They took people into the woods to study their ability to memorize. People who usually live in the city, so they compared their ability to memorize in the city versus their ability to memorize in the middle of nowhere. And in short, what they found is there's only so much short-term memory we have access to in a day. The brain can only handle so much. It can only make so many decisions, and it can only take in so much information. Most of us live in a city that's a loud city full of distractions, not only from trying to stay alive because we risk our lives just driving somewhere or walking down the street, but we're also so distracted by our phone and social media, Facebook, Instagram, text messages, and our minds can only take in so much of this, and we're putting our attention so many different places. So if you want to memorize fast, you need to be somewhere non-threatening to your brain, somewhere where you feel relaxed, where your brain's not going, oh, do I need to do this? Am I in danger? Am I getting a message? Is there going to be an email coming through? When I memorize, I shut my phone off. I don't even put it in airplane mode. It's just too tempting. I shut my phone completely off. I go somewhere where nobody is there. I love to go out in nature, but that's not always possible. But even if it's like my bedroom and I just shut my door and I leave all my electronics in another room and I will set a timer, it's usually at the bare minimum 5 minutes per page of dialogue that I need to memorize, minimum. And I will sit in there and I am not allowed to come out or check email or look at anything or talk to anybody or go anywhere or even eat dinner until I have dedicated that time where absolutely as nothing is happening, but I am there sitting in the imagination, in the world of the character, learning the lines, figuring out their motivations, what this character wants, why I'm saying what I'm saying. And what happens is you get like addicted to it. It's kind of like when you're playing a video game and you don't want to stop playing the video game, or you're binging on Netflix and you don't want to stop watching Game of Thrones because, oh my God, it's so good. Your brain loves it. It's like, oh, I only have to do this one thing, and this one thing is fun because I'm living in this imaginary world. You don't want to stop, and you will keep going until you've got all of those lines down cold. Our mental RAM is so taken up by survival that when you take away all the threats, your brain has all that room to relax and memorize. So guys, I know you're finding all of this very useful, so please go on iTunes and just hit a 5-star rating. If you want to give me even more love, give me a great review. It really helps with the podcast. The book, again, can be found on Amazon.com. If you don't have a Kindle, there's a free app that you can download an e-reader. I would love to put out a print edition, but I messed something up that I actually have to fix before I can actually put out a paperback, so that won't be for some time, and it's going to be more expensive. So it's just cheaper to get the electronic edition. Please leave me a review there. Let me know that you're reading it. You can find me on Instagram at Hollywood Actors Guide, or my personal account at Jennifer Lynn Warren. I hope you guys are out there auditioning. It's not that busy right now. It's that weird moment between like the pilots getting picked up and then things actually really shooting, that, and, you know, things are auditioning. I know Netflix is actually, they seem to be a little more busy than anybody else I've noticed. But don't despair, guys. If you're in a little slump, it could just be the way the seasons are going right now. They're a little wacky. Just focus, make sure your headshots are what they need to be, your real footage. Use this time to go over everything and meet with your agents and managers and break a leg out there, guys. And remember, you are not alone.